I wasn't feeling it because the first time you talked to me crazy, I just, that's all. I'm punching somebody. Like, I'm fighting. And then I'm going to make your life miserable. And there's no coming back from that. Oh, child, I can't believe May done left us like that. Like, sis came in and like, Camry, got right on up out of here. Wow. What up, Search fam? Sade here. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Sade. I'm out here curating and co-creating a cool ass life. And it's time for the monthly wrap up. So y'all already know what it is. Whether this is your first time coming across my little corner of the internet or you keep coming back, join my internet family. Come on in the room. And make sure you turn on the notification bell, hit the subscribe button so you know every time that I post, which is usually on the weekends, okay? We a day late, but we not a dollar short, friends. So, as usual, y'all know how this goes. Handy dandy iPad, stack full of trophies, and we're going to talk about what I read in the month of May. Now, according to the story graph, I read 22 books, I believe, which is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I know I said I was going to read more slowly this year, and like I've been trying, right? But I still read a lot and quite fast. But you know, neither here nor there. Y'all know that I am now on summer from the schoolhouse, so like more of my time is freed up to be reading. But we're not gonna belabor that point. All right, so boom, let's go on and start with these physical books. And some of these, as you know, are physical books that I might have read as audiobooks, but I just own a physical copy. All right, so first and foremost, y'all knew I was gonna do it. Kills Well with Others by Deanna Rayburn. I actually also did a little bit of an annotation with this one. Not too much, but a little, because I have a story that's been percolating for a couple of years that this was one of the books that I used as sort of research. As I said in other videos where I talked about this book, this is about retired assassins, retired women assassins, their crew, 4 of them. And so the first book, which is Killers of a Certain Age, they were pretty much like the movie Red with Bruce Willis and Morgan Freeman and John Malkovich. They were marked as dangerous and being hunted down. This one, they're being hunted by a former Mark's kid. And so now they got to figure out why they got to be on the lam again. And they not getting paid by their job. Like, they was dragging their feet running this. But this book was so fun. For the most part, it's told from the perspective of one character, and that's Billy. But there's also flashbacks to various parts of their working life, which I think is super cool. And I enjoyed this so much because, you know, it deals with travel. There's intricate plotting and things like that. So those are my vibe. I love a little heist situation, a little how we gonna get us out of this situation. So yes, definitely pick this up, especially if you like that kind of thing. I had a great time. I'll probably read this again at some juncture, which is why I own it. I also finally read Love on the Corlean Moon. This is a spinoff of the Bubble Babes series in another universe that's connected to Central 6. And so this is about Lena, who is a Bubble Babe, and she gets dropped onto a planet where it's like they live half underwater, and she gets saved by a prince who's in the middle of what's called the Great Proving, to prove to the goddess that he is capable of having a mate And so she kind of literally falls out the sky, and he's like, well, I got to protect her, but I can't leave because I still got my to finish, so I can essentially prove myself and get me a person. And they don't speak the same language because Lena hasn't, or not Lena, but Kitiko does not have a translator that's turned on, because they turn off the translators and all of the things when they go on the great proving and they build this like cave nest situation. So I thought this was very cute. It's very sweet. I love the trope of like not being able to understand each other and having to discover a mutuality and like communicate with one another. It's spicy, so read the trigger warnings because there are tentacles. But this was a good time. I finally did it, friends. I finished The Immortal Dark by Tejas Jerma, and I did it as an audiobook, which actually worked well for me because the first time that I tried to read this, I had a hard time getting into it. If you saw my other video, you know I did a sort of full review on The Immortal Dark, but my overall sort of sense of it is like, I'm still kind of meh about it. Like, I kind of didn't like it, but it was okay. Am I going to read the second book? I'm not sure. The intrigue and sort of plot development at the end has me like sort of, I would read it, but we'll see what happens because it doesn't come out till I think later this year, maybe next year. I don't know how I'm feel by then. So I told you all that this was going to happen. This is my traveling book read number 3, and I finished it. It's Poison Heart by Mae Pierce. This was my friend Jackie's pick. It was a great time. I enjoyed this so much. So this is about, this is mafia, of course, and this is arranged marriage, but also like enemies to lovers, because Anita is a master poisoner, learned from her pappy, has made this this reputation as the gardener, and nobody knows that one is a woman, and so because it's the mafia and like, you know, misogyny, but she's married to Romeo, and they get married, like Romeo courts her and things like that. And then she overhears him say that pretty much he'll never love her. And he done messed up because he's trying to get to the gardener, and that's why he married her. And she finds all of this out because she's, you know, doing the wife thing and overhears it. Baby, she spends most of the book making this man's life miserable, and come to find out he loves her very much, but he's trying not to show it outwardly because he doesn't want to put her in danger because of fragile sensibilities. Meanwhile, she the gardener. So she's like, no, I'm not helping you. Secondly, since you don't know it's me, I'm going to mess with you. Like, she does things that she gives him a tea that causes erectile dysfunction and like tears his stomach. Like, she terrorizes him. And you know what? I'm here for this. So my tabs for this one are, I mean, I get it. / legends are made. You get what you get, and then smash / I like it, Picasso. And I had such a great time reading this, but also, so Jackie did tabs and underlined. Me, I gave written commentary inside of the book. Let me see if I can find one of my comments. All right, I'm gonna put this up on the screen. Hopefully y'all can see it. So one of my written is on rolling eyes, and then this one over here just says suffer. So this is a good one. The next book I was told is like their granddaughter, and so I'm gonna probably read it. I also have been continuing in the vein of my comfort reads. So I did my first reread for the year of Mead Mishaps 1 and 2. I still have to read Mead Mishaps 3 if I'm going to complete the collection. not too much to say about these. They're a great time. Like, they're my comfort read. So I read The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon and The Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. And so also these are my original hardbacks. I'm still distressed I never got the third one with the original cover, but you know what? It's okay though. And these are my tabbed copies as well. And so for my tabs for these, I do one for each main character, and then one that's like sweets and spices. So it's like things that made me go, oh, and things that made me go, yeah. So I did those two as well. Like I said, they're Mortal Dark, but I also read the Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love by India Holton. And if you'll remember, I read the Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton, which I loved. Like, immediately wanted to reread. The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love was also very cute. I mean, Indian Holton does a really good job with prose, and it's period, so like 19th century, and these are two British ornithologists. They're hunting or tracking down a bird to try to win Birder of the Year, but in their academic rivals, and one of the things that they get is tenure, which is a big deal. As someone who is on the tenure track, tenure is a big damn deal. But they get stuck together just hunting down this bird, and come to find out they are being sort of like pushed together to drum up good, like, an interesting press for the Ornithologist Society, so that more people will want to become ornithologists based on their budding love story. And it is shenanigans. Like, one thing about India Holton is that the activities and the actions are kind of absurd, but in such a funny way. So I really enjoyed this one as well. I read The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston on audiobook, and oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. I like Ashley Poston's readings and was exposed to her when I read Geekerella, which is a Cinderella retelling, but with nerds, and about teenagers at Comic-Con. So she's written in YA, and so now has moved to adult romances. And so this is about a young lady who's the ghostwriter for a famous author who's on contract to finish one more book, and she has a romance book, and she has one more book on contract, and she like can't finish it because she had a really bad breakup, and so she's not feeling the whole love thing anymore. She gets a new editor, and he's like, girl, I don't care about all that. No, you're not getting another extension. This author needs to give me the manuscript. And then the guy, like, they kiss at an event, and she's grieved, like in grief, her friend drags her out, and then she ends up having to go home, like rush home, because her dad dies, and her family are morticians, and they're morticians for a small town, and she also sees ghosts, and there's a whole like long backstory for like her childhood and seeing ghosts and all of this stuff. And then she ends up haunted by her editor, because he ends up like getting hit by a car, and it's them working out, and they kind of like fall for each other, and it's really cute. Oh, it's so well written. I enjoyed it so much. I might own that one because that one was super, super cute. I did Lilac by B.B. Reid as an audiobook as well. I'm not a fan of enemies to lovers of the bully variety. So this is rockstar romance. The main character, Braxton, becomes the guitarist for a famous rock band who's lost their guitarist because, he OD'd and killed himself. But they hate her, but she's also very attractive. So they like can't keep their hands off her. And they're so mean to her. And she is also like, y'all are not going to punk me. So like they're making each other miserable, but also like have this sexual attraction, and it's why choose and all things. I wasn't feeling it because the first time you talked to me crazy, I just, that's it. That's all. I'm punching somebody. Like, I'm fighting. And then I'm going to make your life miserable. And there's no coming back from that. Like, I get the stubbornness of you not going to keep me from my bag and my dream. But I'm not going to fall in love with y'all in the process. Go to hell. So, yeah, maybe not my vibe. I listened to This Ravenous Fate on audiobook by Hayley, Jennings, and I do have a full review of that. I enjoyed it very much. It is sapphic YA set during and around like the 1920s, so roaring 20s going like into, or the jazz age rather. And it's about black vampires and black vampire hunters, enemies to lovers. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. So look out for the full review on that one forthcoming. I also read Untouchable by Shon. And we know I love Shon. This is a Shon Stan account. And this is about friends to lovers, but like the female main character, who I forget her name, she is super hesitant to let her best friend be her boo thing, even though they have had an arrangement where they're having sex for like at least a year. And he really comes on strong and he likes her so much. And like, I didn't like that part of it because I'm like, girl, let that man love you, right? But it was all right. I also did Act Your Age Eve Brown as a audiobook. We know that I love Act Your Age Eve Brown is my favorite of the Brown sisters books. And the audiobook, I enjoyed it a lot. So again, with my comfort reads now. And so that one was very good. I also did The Bone King and the Starling by Elizabeth Stevens. And I ain't like that one either. It really didn't. And so it's about this king who's like warring and comes to this kingdom, and he falls for one of the enslaved persons that works for the king, and she's black, and she was taken in by the king. And there's a lot of things that happen. The communication is poor. She's a virgin. And like, so a lot of things that just kind of gave me the ick. So I wasn't a big fan. As far as digital books, I did, as I said I was, I accidentally hooked up with A Vampire by Jessica Cage. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it. Jessica Cage is very funny. This is about Whitney, who has a one-night stand with this guy Domino, who owns an art gallery that she's doing a show at. She's just lost her job to like a chick with a dry weave. And she talks to him bad about her. And so she has this one night stand with Domino. It like, he breaks her whole back in like a glow stick. Come find out he a vampire now. Whitney's being chased by vampires that are trying to get back, especially Domino's brother, who's trying to get him to respond and be combative and all this shit. And so, yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. I just want to say this. I read some urban fiction novellas, and y'all can't be trusted because I got these on Rex. And are we okay? Blink twice, because I don't know. So the first one I read was Sneaking and Freaking with My Professor by M. Monique. This is my first M. Monique book, maybe. And this is about a professor. She's a college professor, and she has this older student in her class who she met at a friend's wedding a couple of years ago, but she was with somebody. That ex-boyfriend was horrible, like very trash, very didn't deserve her. And so this guy, he's been into her since, and ends up in her class, and he is running her nerves, and they get to, doing what grown folks do. And she is also like, yo, I can't do this because you gonna put my job in jeopardy. Because there are, at most universities, this is true, there are policies about misconduct, including with students. You know what I'm saying? So like I felt that in a deep place, but this one was okay. I mean, it wasn't that bad. But also I think he was a drug dealer, but he's also getting his degree. I just laughed. Which fair, go off, King. But like, okay, yeah, it was all right though. It was all right. I also read Cutthroat by Octavia Grant. This one was absolutely unhinged. It was unhinged. Okay, so boom. Main character this is pretty much a revenge story. And she lets you know this from the beginning. And she's getting revenge on her husband, who is cheating on her with her half sister that was adopted into their family. They don't like her no way because she a hoe. And she just bad business all around. Baby, she runs this man's nerves. She is actually unhinged. Like, girl. So I was riveted though. I will say that much. Like, I was in it. It was like watching Cheaters. It was like reading what would be an episode of Cheaters, but like on steroids. Cause she took it to hell, baby. I also read The Billionaire's Bookworm by B. Love. It was okay. It was about this woman who's a bookstore owner. She's looking for help to run the bookstore. This guy comes in and she's like kind of complaining because there's things going wrong. Her landlord's not available to help get things fixed. Da 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 da. So this is a secret billionaire trope. He comes, starts working for her. My thing is this, like, she didn't even get no paperwork done. Like, how you paying him? This is just a loose thing. Where's the EEOC? Like, there's certain things that you're supposed to do as a employer trying to employ someone. But, you know, I guess it didn't matter anyway because he owned the whole building. He owned the block. He a billionaire. And she finds out and she goes off and she's just like, oh, I'm so betrayed. And I think that's the part that made me go, I guess. Like, I don't think I would feel the same. I wouldn't be like, oh, I feel real betrayed. I might feel a little embarrassed. Like, so were you just getting your rocks off working with common folk? Like, what's that? But I don't know. Her questioning of him was just like deeply dramatic to me, but I guess that's the point. But it was okay. I read Raphael's Tale by A.C. Arthur, and I like A.C. Arthur's book. I read A.C. Arthur's Kimani romances way back in the Gap. Okay, those are some of my favorite starter romances. And so this was a short story novella about this guy who just got out of jail and he's on house arrest still. And a loctician comes to do his locks because he ain't had his locks done in God knows how long because he was in the jailhouse. And so, but he also has had a crush on her for like 2 years or for multiple years. And now she had a kid and he's like, oh, but I got to have her. And so they end up getting together in the course of this very short novella while she's doing his hair. I guess, girl. That's how I feel about it. Like, just not my vibe, I guess. I guess it's really just not my own thing. I also read Three's a Crowd and Three's a Crowd, Daughter of Fate by Tierra Cox. I enjoyed this series because I want to say where it ended. There's going to be a third book. But I read these first two books. I enjoyed it. It is about Leah, who's a witch. She's the granddaughter to the Supreme, and she has a demon familiar that makes a deal with her to protect her, woo wham, and then comes up on a gargoyle and he becomes her sort of familiar as well, but he was like also her aunt's familiar who's dead, who was maybe killed by vampires. So she's trying to figure out what happened to her. Leah's trying to figure out what happened to her mother because her mother disappeared, and what happened to her aunt because her aunt was killed, and it's tied to vampires. She also has the eye of the Fae Prince, and so the banter is very good. But like, Leah's 19, and she gives 19. Like, she irks my nerves with her impulsiveness. She don't really listen to nobody. But this is a wide choose, of course. And so I thought that was fine. Actually, I loved her cousin and her cousin's little vampire boo thing. Those were my favorite characters in these two books. But there's a lot going on because they're trying to find this vampire. And then there's warlocks, and warlocks are pretty much like incel men who, like, they'll never have the power of witches, but they be trying to drain witches of their power so they can feel it, to feel something in their soul. And so, yeah. So this ancient vampire leverages that and trying to make an army to overtake the witches so the vampires can rule the world. And the ancient vampire is also going to go back and take down what they call the first, which is like their ancient vampire who's also a woman. And so that part was good. The like going through the Fae realm and like trying to figure out what is happening. That was cool. Leah, on my nerves. Don't listen to nobody. The why choose of it all, that was fine. Like, it was an okay series. Would I read it again? Probably not. But I had a good time while I read it. And then lastly, I read the Tea Dragon Society series, and there's 3 books. I read them in an hour because they're like middle grade graphic novels, and I want a tea dragon. That's the moral of the story. So it's pretty much about this young girl who's her mother's a forge master, and she wants to become like her mother and make these items. So she's learning, but she finds a little tiny dragon, and she's like, oh, and I think some dogs were trying to attack it. And like, tea dragons, they are pretty much like constant companions, and they grow the herbs out of their bodies and you make tea out of them. So she finds it, and then she goes to try to find the owner. So she finds the owner of the tea dragon, and so she starts hanging out there and learning the way of keeping a tea dragon and like how to harvest the things, all of that on top of learning her forge master things. And it's just so lovely. It has very good LGBTQIA rep. It has disability rep, as the friend that she makes has amnesia and can't remember anything about herself, and she gets a tea dragon. It's very cute. And then the master sort of tea dragon keeper, their partner is in a wheelchair, wounded in battle because they used to be adventurers, and I want to say they weren't mercenaries, but like they would go handle maybe they were mercenaries, like they would go out on missions to do that. And it was just so lovely. It was so cute. Oh my gosh, I enjoyed it so much. It was so cozy, easy read, nice hour to spend. I cried. That was a great time. So those are my books for the month of May. It was a really good reading month for me. As always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.